Nobody has touched too much on the economics of wind. It doesn't work. Wind produces at night when we don't need it. Wind produces during the spring, and what we do is we spill our nice clean hydro instead of turning it into electricity. And this is what's wrong as well. And I think the economics, and I think the number was mentioned by one of the presenters, is 80 to 100 billion dollars over the next 20 years. And I have done my numbers, and my numbers say it's going to be over 100 billion dollars.
Why haven't they found a way to save it first before they pay? I understand other provinces and the states, we pay them to take our excess electricity.
Yep.
Now that's new to me, because when I get a gift, hopefully I don't have to pay them to take it.
To anyone from Wolf Island or who knows anything about the mortality rate of birds, bats, and butterflies on Wolf Island.
I did do a report recently. There was in the standards stating that the mortality was something 4 to 5 times higher than what they had reported it would be.
It's actually 7 times higher. It's 13.4 birds per turbine.
You saw pictures of it here earlier around the bases of the towers. That's exactly what happens in these massive solar developments when they're talking about hundreds of thousands of panels in your backyard. So I hope that doesn't get lost in the discussion.
Just recently, they canceled a number of programs. One in terms of retrofit in regards to more efficient furnaces. Also did away with geothermal. And also previously they also did away with any grants regarding the solar water energy. So are they really serious about it, or are they in the pockets of the wind energy consortium?
Yeah.
Wolf Island, and my husband and I are here tonight because we feel that people here need to know what they are listening to is absolutely correct. We have, at this point, a hearing that we are waiting for the decision. We've been waiting 4 months now for a decision regarding the property, our assessment on our property. Now, it took us 2 years to get to the hearing. It took a lot of effort and a lot of work. But I just want to say right now that we don't know what the decision will be, but if a lot of people who are living by wind turbines now would take a look at their assessment and take a look at whether or not it would be feasible to spend $65 and ask for an appeal on their assessment.
My wife and I moved to Amherst Island just a little over a year ago. And we have a modest retirement home on the water, and we've seen swans all winter. And as we are realizing what may come about, a friend and a neighbor of mine have decided, when it comes down to it, we're going to chain ourselves to the ferry.
Is there any way you think it will get extended so they'll have to look at your evidence tonight and have to listen to MPPs that may have a little more common sense?
Get the liberals out.
I can tell you that the February 19th deadline was a deadline for you folks. It's not a deadline for me. And when I get back there on February 21st, I will not be quiet.
These are industrial projects. These are factories. They are not farms. They are not windmills.
A green initiative done on an industrial scale is no longer green.
One of the challenges with selling real estate here in the county for the last 3 years has been, the first question and the first conversation is, where are the turbines going, and don't take me there. And the second is, I can't tell you definitively. I cannot. I can tell you what's proposed right now. I can tell you what might be.
I live along the transmission route, proposed by Gilead. Had surveyors up the road this week. I went to the information session that had to do with setting the setbacks, whenever it was, for the Green Energy Act. And I'd just like to relate to you that it was one of the most frustrating experiences of my life. I'm an acoustical expert by trade, and there was nobody heard anything that was said at that session. So, you know, it's very disillusioning, and I want you all to know that there was no way to make a statement. I wrote all the letters. I'm on the environmental registry. You know, I've talked to all the representatives, and et cetera, that they all did, and it's very frustrating. And I'm glad to see you all here, because we have to stand up for something. We have to stand up for, you know, energy that makes sense.
You are a brave man, because you were in a Shark Tank tonight. I just wanted to say, the proposed Ian Baines, his Windstream, and we'll file in the 100 turbines that he wants to put in there. He has about as much right to do that as the man on the moon. That's our lake. I don't know who he thinks he is. That's the water that supplies all of us in this room, with life.
And as a municipality have rights, there's things like air rights. You own the land, you don't own that air up there.
And there was no disclosure when we bought our home that this was going in across the road. As Mike said, we have a 100 megawatt solar farm going in there. I have a 10-month-old daughter, and I'm pregnant again, thankfully. But I don't know how this is going to affect my own family, and we purposefully turned down other homes cheaper than this one for these sort of issues, and to not have it disclosed is a crime. And to Mr. Fideli, I hope you can bring stories like this to people like me who speak for me, please, and for my children who don't get to vote.
One of the damn shames that government's done to us right now is up between me and my neighbors.
Yeah.
Now, if anybody's been around here since 1970, anyway, you know, it used to be a ghost town. So people need money. So who is going to be between my neighbor and me is some industrial giant. I don't thank you for that.
I want to complete the circle and have you get a full picture of what the hang really happened here. So you asked earlier about what started the whole thing. And I think, first of all, I want you to know where I stand. I think we've been led down a green garden path. They removed the municipality's opportunity to have these kinds of meetings. They took our right for zoning matters away from us, and that's the private members bill that Todd brought forward, is to try to give us our rights to have these zoning hearings back. Those zoning meetings were the only real public forum that was available to you.
This is the #1 issue that I've had to deal with since I took office. There are many, many other issues in Prince Edward Hastings riding, but the correspondence that I've received from people in this room and people who aren't in this room is very, very significant.